Welcome back to my channel with new update. Dana White has revealed that UFC fighter bonuses could be permanently increased beginning in 2026, signaling a potential shift in the promotion's long-standing approach to post-fight incentives. While White has historically pushed back against raising bonuses under public pressure, recent developments suggest that the financial landscape of the UFC is changing in a meaningful way. The discussion follows the announcement of the UFC's massive new broadcasting agreement with Paramount, reportedly valued at $7.7 billion. With such a significant influx of revenue, White acknowledged that a portion of the deal could eventually benefit fighters, particularly through structured increases to post-fight bonuses. Unlike short-term or reactionary decisions, these increases would be carefully planned and implemented as part of a long-term strategy. Just months earlier, White had expressed frustration after being pressured into temporarily doubling the standard $50,000 performance bonus to $100,000 at UFC 304. That decision came after public calls from fighters such as Bobby Green, but the event itself failed to deliver the level of excitement many had hoped for. Out of 14 fights on the card, only 5 ended in finishes, resulting in what White described as a flat and forgettable night. The outcome reinforced his belief that simply raising bonuses does not automatically improve fighter performance or urgency. Following that event, White made it clear he would not allow himself to be pushed into spontaneous bonus increases again. However, the scale of the Paramount deal has reopened the conversation from a different perspective. Rather than reacting to pressure, the UFC is now evaluating how increased revenue can support sustainable growth across the roster. White emphasized that bonuses are one of the most straightforward ways to directly impact fighter earnings. Over time, performance bonuses can add up to millions of dollars for athletes, making them a powerful financial tool when applied consistently. He also pointed to the UFC's strong viewership numbers, noting peaks of over 8 million viewers as evidence of the promotion's expanding reach. The discussion also touched on accessibility and audience growth, with White highlighting lower barriers to entry for viewers. Reduced subscription costs and broader distribution platforms are expected to bring more eyes to the product, benefiting both the organization and its athletes. While Dana White remains cautious about impulsive decisions, the possibility of permanent bonus increases reflects a broader evolution in the UFC's business model. If implemented, these changes could mark a significant step forward in how fighters are financially rewarded in the years ahead. Daniel Cormier has weighed in on the current state of the UFC lightweight division, offering insight into its shifting dynamics and the fighters positioned at the top. Much of the recent attention has been focused on the interim lightweight title fight at UFC 324 between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, a matchup that has unfolded in an unusually respectful manner. Rather than engaging in heated trash talk, both fighters have taken a measured and professional approach, with Pimblett consistently acknowledging Gaethje as a proven veteran and one of the division's most dangerous competitors. Despite the respectful tone, Pimblett has shown no lack of confidence. He has stated that his pressure-heavy style will be key to the fight and believes he can overwhelm Gaethje over the course of the bout. Pimblett has even suggested that a finish is possible, including the chance of a knockout. His comments reflect both admiration for Gaethje's career and a strong belief that this fight represents his arrival among the lightweight elite. Gaethje, meanwhile, has remained focused almost exclusively on preparation. In recent interviews, he has avoided discussing Pimblett at length, instead emphasizing his training and improvements. He has hinted that his wrestling has evolved significantly, even suggesting that he may surprise fans by securing a takedown. The calm and disciplined approach from both fighters has added a different layer of intrigue to the matchup. The interim title was created due to undisputed lightweight champion Ilia Topuria stepping away from competition for an indefinite period because of family reasons. The expectation is that the interim champion will eventually unify the belt with Topuria upon his return. However, if the hiatus extends or results in the title being vacated, the interim championship could become undisputed, reshaping the division entirely. In that scenario, Arman Tsarukyan, widely viewed as the top contender, would be next in line for a title shot. Cormier praised Tsarukyan's activity and physicality, noting that he may currently be the best lightweight in the world with Islam Makhachev no longer in the picture. According to Cormier, Tsarukyan's size, strength, and skill set separate him from most of the division. Cormier also highlighted the potential of a future clash between Tsarukyan and Topuria, describing them as the two best lightweights in the world. While Pimblett and Gaethje remain elite competitors, Cormier believes the matchup between Tsarukyan and Topuria carries the kind of competitive and promotional intrigue that could define the next era of the lightweight division. A major shakeup has hit the UFC 326 main card following reports that a highly anticipated middleweight bout has been cancelled. It was initially announced that Paulo Costa was set to face Bruno Ferreira at UFC 326, a matchup that immediately generated excitement among fans due to Costa's star power and aggressive fighting style. However, new information has emerged confirming that Costa has officially withdrawn from the fight for undisclosed reasons. At this time, Paulo Costa has not released a public statement addressing his withdrawal, leaving fans and analysts speculating about the circumstances behind the decision. The lack of details has created uncertainty surrounding the situation, as it remains unclear whether the issue is related to injury, illness, contractual matters, or another unforeseen complication. Until Costa speaks directly or the UFC provides further clarification, the exact cause of the cancellation remains unknown. The sudden pullout represents a significant setback for the UFC 326 main card. Costa is one of the most recognizable names in the middleweight division, and his presence often brings heightened attention and viewership to any event. Bruno Ferreira, on the other hand, was looking at this fight as a major opportunity to elevate his standing in the division by defeating a former title challenger. With the bout now off the card, Ferreira's immediate future is also uncertain. As of now, the UFC has not confirmed whether the fight will be rescheduled for a later date, or if Bruno Ferreira will be offered a replacement opponent. In situations like this, the promotion typically explores multiple options, including finding a short-notice replacement or moving the affected fighter to a different event. However, given the proximity to UFC 326, securing a suitable opponent who is prepared and medically cleared could prove challenging. This cancellation also raises broader questions about the structure of the UFC 326 lineup. Losing a main card fight can impact the overall balance and promotional strategy of the event, potentially forcing the UFC to reshuffle bouts or elevate another matchup into a more prominent position. Fans will be watching closely to see how the organization responds and whether any additional changes are announced in the coming days. For now, all attention remains on Paulo Costa's status and the UFC's next move. Until more information is made available, the future of this matchup remains uncertain. What is clear, however, is that the cancellation has introduced unexpected turbulence to UFC 326, altering the landscape of the event and leaving fans awaiting further updates from the promotion. Tensions between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev have escalated significantly, turning what once appeared to be light trash talk into a full-blown rivalry. Each new exchange between the two has intensified the hostility, drawing attention across the MMA world. The situation began when Topuria publicly suggested that Makhachev moved up to the welterweight division because he was afraid to face him. Rather than backing away, Topuria doubled down on his comments, confidently claiming that he would defeat Makhachev, and even going as far as making remarks about handling him outside of competition. Those statements immediately caught Makhachev's attention. The former lightweight champion responded by telling Topuria to focus on defending his own title instead of bringing his name into unrelated discussions. Despite that warning, Topuria continued to escalate the feud, later claiming that he would submit Makhachev and making comments involving Khabib Nurmagomedov that were widely viewed as disrespectful. At that point, the rivalry became far more personal. In a subsequent interview, Makhachev addressed the ongoing situation directly. He criticized Topuria for talking excessively and hinted that if they were ever to cross paths, the confrontation might not remain verbal. While Makhachev did not specify whether he meant inside the octagon or elsewhere, his comments suggested that the tension had reached a serious level. The most recent escalation occurred in Dubai, where Islam Makhachev's teammate, UFC flyweight Tagir Ulanbekov, reportedly confronted Topuria in public. According to Ulanbekov, the encounter took place near a busy shopping area where both fighters happened to cross paths. He stated that he approached Topuria to question him about his repeated public remarks and references to street fights involving Makhachev. Ulanbekov explained that Topuria was not alone and appeared to alert those around him when he recognized who was approaching. The situation quickly drew attention from security and nearby pedestrians, preventing any physical altercation from taking place. Despite the heavy presence of security, Ulanbekov admitted that heated words were exchanged, with both sides shouting as the confrontation unfolded. Although the incident ended without violence, it underscored how far the rivalry has progressed beyond verbal exchanges on social media and interviews. What began as competitive trash talk has now spilled into real-world encounters involving teammates and public confrontations. As the situation continues to develop, many fans are wondering whether this feud will eventually be settled inside the octagon, where both fighters would have the opportunity to prove their claims under official rules, rather than escalating tensions outside the cage. Josh Thompson has offered his breakdown of a high-stakes middleweight matchup as Renier de Ridder prepares to face Caio Borralho at UFC 326 in Las Vegas on March 7th. The bout carries major implications for the division, particularly as the title picture continues to take shape, and new contenders look to separate themselves from the pack. At the top of the division, Khamzat Chimaev is expected to defend his title in the spring against Nassourdine Imavov. With that fight looming, the next wave of challengers is already emerging. Fighters such as Sean Strickland and Fluffy Hernandez remain firmly in the conversation, and it is widely believed that the winner of their matchup could earn the next title shot. Adding further intrigue is uncertainty surrounding Chimaev's long-term plans, as he has openly discussed moving divisions after a single title defense in pursuit of champ status. Chimaev has floated potential moves to light heavyweight and even a return to welterweight, claiming he can still make the 170-pound limit. Those plans could depend on whether Kamaru Usman is able to reclaim the welterweight title in 2026, which would set up a massive champion versus champion rematch. Their first meeting was an action-packed 3-round fight that left fans eager for a 5-round sequel. From a promotional standpoint, a Chimaev double champ opportunity would be enormous for the UFC, especially as the organization enters a new era under its Paramount television deal. Turning his focus to De Ridder versus Baralho, Thompson described the matchup as an excellent fight between two highly regarded fighters coming off recent losses. Both athletes had been on the verge of breaking into the top 3 or 4 of the rankings before suffering setbacks. De Ridder, who was ranked near the top of the division before losing to Brendan Allen, now finds himself in a critical position where a win is essential to stay relevant in the title conversation. Thompson noted that Baralho is well-rounded, with solid striking and capable grappling. He believes Baralho does not need to fear being overwhelmed by De Ridder's wrestling, as De Ridder's takedown game has shown limitations. However, Thompson emphasized that De Ridder's clinch work remains a significant weapon and something Baralho will need to manage carefully. The timing of the fight also works in both athletes' favor. With the bout scheduled for March, each fighter has sufficient time to recover, prepare, and manage their weight cuts. Thompson pointed out that both men are physically large for the division, making preparation especially important. He also praised De Ridder's activity level, noting that fighting frequently, despite the physical toll, is one of the best ways for a fighter to improve and perform consistently at the highest level.